Hey everyone, I have a new book to share with you today. We've been talking a lot about the butterfly life cycle and how a butterfly changes from caterpillar all the way to butterfly. Another word for that is called metamorphosis, changing from one form to another. And I have another book for you about a different kind of metamorphosis, and that is the metamorphosis of a tadpole to a frog. Can you say the word metamorphosis? That's a really big science word, but I bet you can say it. So, we are going to read this book called Tadpole and Frog. The author is Christine Beck, and the illustrator is Barry Watts. Take a look at the illustrations in this book. What do you notice about them? I notice that it's a photograph of a real frog. It's not a drawing like a lot of the books we read. Sometimes that's a hint that this is a non-fiction book or it's about something real. Let's see what we can learn about frog life cycles. Here is some frog spawn. Have you ever looked at a pond or a ditch and found frog spawn? You can see some frog spawn in this photograph. Look at the black dots. The dots are frog eggs. Some of these eggs will turn into young frogs like this one. This book tells you how the eggs turn into young frogs. I noticed that there are some drawn illustrations as well. Each egg is inside a ball of jelly. Here is an egg inside of a jelly ball. In the photograph, the ball is shown very large, but in real life, it's about as big as a pea. So about that big, maybe like the size of a pencil eraser. The eggs change into tadpoles. The eggs change shape very quickly. After 4 days, they look like this. After 7 days, the eggs have almost turned into tadpoles. Look at the big photograph. Can you see the tadpole's head and tail? So that is after 7 days. It's growing and changing inside of its egg. The tadpoles come out of the jelly balls. After 10 days, the tadpoles are ready to come out. The jelly gets softer and the tadpoles wiggle out like this. Can you see it coming out of its little ball of jelly? Look at the big photograph. The tadpoles stay together. They rest near the jelly or on plants. Why do you think the tadpoles stay together after they come out of their jelly balls? Do you think they stay together maybe to stay safe? I wonder. The tadpoles can breathe underwater. Each tadpole breathes through feathery gills outside of its body. Look at the photograph. Can you see the tadpole's gills? So instead of lungs inside of the body like we have, tadpoles have gills that help them breathe outside of their body. The tadpole swims by wiggling its tail. It eats tiny plants that grow in the water. Finally, the tadpole grows back legs. After 5 weeks, the tadpole has grown legs. Its outside gills have disappeared. The tadpole can still breathe underwater, but now it breathes through gills which are inside the body. So the gills that were outside have now developed inside of the body. So the outside gills go away. Do you notice something that's growing on the side of that little body? I see a leg starting to develop. Now the tadpole cannot breathe underwater. After about 6 weeks, the tadpole stops using its gills. The tadpole grows lungs and breathes air like we do. This means that the tadpole has to come to the top of the water to breathe. Soon the tadpole grows front legs. Look at the photograph. This tadpole is 10 weeks old. Can you see the front legs starting to develop? What is this starting to look like to you? More and more with each picture. What do you think is going to have to happen for it to turn into a frog? Let's find out. The tadpole eats small animals that live in the water. Look at the drawing. Can you see that the tadpole's tail is getting shorter and shorter? Look at the photograph. This tadpole is 12 weeks old. Can you see the tail getting shorter and shorter? And the rest of its body is developing to look more and more like an adult frog. The tadpole has now turned into a frog. It lives on the land. After 15 weeks, the tadpole turned into a tiny frog. The frog leaves the water and lives on the land. It uses its strong back legs to jump from place to place, but the frog still goes back to the pond for a swim. The tiny frog grows up. Soon the frog moves away from the pond and lives in damp places and eats insects, beetles, and worms. The frog slowly grows up to look like its mother or father. The female frog, after it's a year old, goes to a pond and lays more eggs like these, thus completing the life cycle. What do you think will happen to these eggs? You got it. They're going to grow up just like the frog who laid them. So we have egg, tadpole, and frog. We have egg, tadpole, and then the tadpole starts growing legs, its tail starts shrinking, and it finally turns into an adult frog. Very cool life cycle of a frog. I hope you've enjoyed learning a little bit about the frog life cycle. I know that I have, and I hope you have a great rest of your day. Bye, friends.